We also have with us all the way from downtown San Francisco, Mr. Mark Jewell, the founder of Efficiency Sales Professional Institute.
Well, thank you.
At the break, you were describing the series of courses and programs coming up here in Honolulu the end of March, as I recall.
Yes, yeah, we have two series, one coming in March 31st for a full week of half and full day sessions, and the other one coming in May 5th, which is the week-long Efficiency Sales Professional Boot Camp.
And
just Mark, you've done programs out here before, and how have people pretty enthusiastic about the stuff that you've been talking about?
You know, I'm thrilled to say that we've been invited back several times. I mean, this is Hawaii Energy Series 5, so we've been there 4 previous times, and we've graduated about 800 seats. I say seats because we've had several people take multiple courses. Probably 400 or 500 unique individuals have taken our courses over the last 3 years in Honolulu. And also, we did a couple of trainings in Kona, on Maui, and that sort of thing, in Hilo. But most of the stuff we've done is in Honolulu. The nice thing about what we do is one of the nice things about what we do is we always do pre and post course evaluations. And just the other day, I was looking at the statistics of the stuff that we had done in the prior years, and it turns out that we always scale people's knowledge levels from a scale 1 to 5 before they do the course and after they do the course. And I was interested to see that it was on a scale of 1 to 5. It was an average of about 1.4 points in advance of energy knowledge after having attended the course. And of course, the testimonials are off the charts. We have a lot of referrals. People have taken the course and say, wow, when are you coming back? So I'm happy to know and to share with you that I think it's going to be a really great series once again.
is that something unusual for a state to have so much in the way of energy efficiency training interest?
Yeah.
I mean, what's the reason for that, Mark? Is it just the cost of energy, or is it results? Why is that?
You know, it's interesting. We're officed here in San Francisco. That's our headquarters downtown, and we do a lot of work for Pacific Gas and Electric, which is the second largest utility in the country. And they have a bricks and mortar education center called the Pacific Energy Center. I'm a frequent lecturer there. There are a bunch of other similar bricks and mortar education centers for energy education up and down the state of California, run by the investor-owned utilities. Mm-hmm. So you see a lot of education happening here on our own stomping grounds in California. But across the country, you don't really see that much.
You don't see that much in terms of bricks and mortar?
In terms of utility-funded bricks and mortar energy education centers. Now, people like Iowa Energy Center, people like American Electric Power, people like Duke Energy, those sorts of things, they do have programs that educate their customers, but they don't maintain a 25,000 square foot bricks and mortar institution specifically for the purpose of educating people.
Okay,
now,
why is that, Mark? Why is that? Is it because of the high cost of power in California generates interest, or?
You know, I think California has been a leader for the last 30 years. They've been a leader in more aggressive building codes, more aggressive rebates. I mean, most recently like 2 program cycles ago, 2010, 2012, the investor-owned utilities alone gave away $3.8 billion, billion with a B, to ratepayers. Basically, money that had gone through public benefits funding was given back to ratepayers to support efficiency. So it's a very serious thing here. And of course, as well-funded as those energy centers are, it is a rounding error compared to the hundreds of millions of dollars in rebates and incentives that California investor-owned utilities collect from their ratepayers and give back to the ratepayers in terms of rebates and incentives. So it's a big thing here. The good thing, I think the reason that our courses are so successful in Hawaii is A, your electricity prices are off the map. B, off the charts, I should say. B, we bring a unique level of energy education. I mean, it's founded on 20 years worth of experience, seeing what does work and what doesn't work. And our approach to selling efficiency is very different. In many utility territories around the country, you'll see people promoting energy efficiency because it's the right thing to do. We don't think about promoting energy efficiency. We think about selling energy efficiency, and selling implies that you're going to actually understand segment-specific, role-specific, goal-specific values that the prospect standing in front of you has, and you're going to customize the pitch to appeal to that. And I can give you a number of studies and samples and stories before we end this broadcast, but we don't talk about kilowatt hours and therms. We don't talk about rebates, honestly. We don't talk about all that. We don't talk about greenhouse gas mitigation. We talk about, if we're talking about an office building, we talk about concomitant productivity increases in the wake of improving thermal comfort. The fact that your utility bill is $2 to $4 a square foot, your payroll is $200 a square foot. So if you improve the productivity of the workers by 2% in Hawaii, you're going to eliminate the utility bill. And that's the kind of mathematics that's not usually talked about if you're an engineer with your, eye shades and sleeve garters on, talking about kilowatts and therms. People don't get into the business operations of their customers, and I think that's a real failing, and that's why our stuff is really very, very admired.
Mark, just so that our audience can really appreciate what you're saying, give us the price of electric power to the extent that you know it that we are paying here in Hawaii. Tell the audience what we're paying here in Hawaii.
Well, it varies based on island and utility servicing those islands, but from my understanding, you're talking about somewhere between 32 and 50 cents a kilowatt hour. Now, the comparison.
Hold on. So Mike, you confirm that.
All right.
All right. So now let's jump to California, Mark. What's the price that you pay for power there?
The average
PG&E.
commercial rate here in California would probably be about 18 cents a kilowatt hour, I'd guess.
Okay, so we just went from 50 cents a kilowatt hour to 18.
Right.
Now pick someplace in the heartland of America, like Iowa, Texas. What are they paying for power?
In some cases, to take Pacific Northwest, where they have a lot of abundant hydroelectric, those guys are paying about 8 3/4 cents. In Santa Fe, New Mexico, a municipality might be paying 4 cents a kilowatt hour.
Okay, so with the audience,
it's like an order of magnitude difference.
Yeah, but with the audience now appreciating the substantial difference from 50 cents to 4 cents.
Yeah.
That is a barometer, is it not, of where kind of the national focus is nationwide on energy efficiency. It's in California and Hawaii, yes?
Well, no, I wouldn't say that. There are a lot of states. It's funny. We used to run, I was a founder of a venture capital-backed business and ran it for 8 or 9 years called Real Win-Win. And our job was to file rebate applications, incentive applications for approximately 1 billion square feet of household name companies. Neiman Marcus, Taco Bell, Starbucks, you name it, Macy's. We evaluate 10 or 15,000 rebate applications per year, but they were all over the country. So a Walgreens, who was a client of ours, they'd be filing rebates and incentives in all the states, regardless almost of what the utility prices were, because there were rebates. Basically $9 billion worth of rebates annually were available in U.S. and Canada. So I would not say that the energy efficiency consciousness is limited to California or Hawaii. I wouldn't even say that in a low utility rate jurisdiction like Texas, energy efficiency is dismissed, because it isn't. You can make a lot of improvements to a building's efficiency, its competitiveness, its profitability and value, even if you're in a jurisdiction where you're only paying 6 or 7 or 8 cents a kilowatt hour.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Mark, a few years ago, I co-chaired a thing called the Energy Policy Forum, and 49 stakeholder organizations, the regulated utilities, the renewable energy associations, the counties, the state, federal government. And we sponsored an executive seminar about 7 years ago, I guess. And we invited the chief executive officers from the top 50 companies in Hawaii, and talking to them about what could be achieved with energy efficiency, and also the financing of energy efficiency projects. And we were oversubscribed. We had to turn people away. We had 70 people there.
Wow.
And there's just an awful lot of interest, and it was much on much of the focus was on, the business sense of energy efficiency for a company.
Yeah, I think so. It's funny. Many years ago, there was a survey done for CFOs, and 45% of the CFOs responding to the survey said that they thought that energy was a fixed cost. And you wonder, how in the world, what world is this person living in that they think that energy is a fixed cost? And in fact, the EPA battled with the AICPA, American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, because the way they were putting out template financial statements would tend to indicate or suggest that energy was fixed cost. But they didn't win that battle. Bottom line is, we find that when we have an elevator pitch, a one-page proposal, and a one-page financial analysis that includes the stuff that really matters to businesses, they snap to attention pretty quickly. If, on the other hand, you go in with a 50-page proposal and an Excel spreadsheet that goes out to column CA
Right.
on, the number of measures you're going to do for retrofitting 140 different kinds of lighting and all the catalog stock numbers and stuff, decision makers are not going to pay attention. If they even pay attention, they're going to quickly lose attention, and you're not going to get the efficiency projects done. And so that's what we do. We tell people, we protect people from their own devices. We say, look, don't do it the conventional way. Let's talk like business people with real business acumen. Let's talk about what really matters in energy efficiency in the context of these industries, and let's get the job done. And fortunately, with hundreds of graduates, we have literally hundreds of testimonials of our approach working.
Right. Just in terms of your observations of what we've got going here in energy, where do you think the biggest efficiency gains would be for Hawaii?
Well, I'll tell you something. I'm going to tell you a little story. I'm not going to tell you where I had this experience, but it's actually a very funny story. But it'll take 2 minutes or so. Is that okay? Do I?
No, go ahead.
Okay. We were asked to come and make a presentation. This was a couple of series ago, and we were taken to a conference room that was volunteered for our presentation. It was going to be an all-day actually a 2-day presentation on energy efficiency on a particular island, which shall remain unnamed. We are taken to the facility by a young lady who, this is in May, it's about 75 or 80 degrees out, the guys are out there with board shorts, it's balmy, it's beautiful. This woman introduces us to the room where we're going to be presenting, and the air conditioning is set to 62 degrees. We walk, she's wearing a fleece. And I'm thinking, this is not right. Something's wrong with this picture. I mean, I'm from San Francisco. We wear fleece in the evening because when the Bay Breeze comes in the summer, I mean, whoever was, W.C. Fields said the coldest summer I've ever spent,
right.
what I've ever spent is the summer in San Francisco. In any case, this girl's in fleece in 75-degree May weather. I get in there, and my colleague and I instantly realize something's wrong with this air conditioning. So he said, I call her back, and I said, listen, there's a problem with this room. She says, oh, you're in the cold room. I said, cold room? She said, yes. We know that room 301 is a cold room. I said, well, can you turn the air conditioning down? It's a little cold in here. She said, no, the thermostat, they're broken. The air conditioning system's broken. I said, well, listen, I'm going to be here. He said, how long are you going to be in there today? I said, it's all day. She says, oh, that's too bad. I said, what do you mean it's too bad? She says, well, the air conditioning system is broken. It's going to stay cold in there. She said, well, we do have a plan. She said, are you in the room now? I said, yeah, I'm calling you from the house phone on the wall. She said, well, if you look up, the place used to be an art gallery. There are lots of lights in the ceiling. And we found that if you turn all the lights on, the room will warm up eventually. I said, you're telling me to turn all the lights on at 35 cents a kilowatt hour to warm up the room. And besides, I've done a few million square feet of lighting design. These are compact fluorescent lamps that are hardwired. The ballast is above the ceiling. I mean, the only thing that's going to get warm in this building is the mongoose in the attic. She said, well, yeah, I guess so. I said, well, what's plan B? She said, well, are you in the room? I said, yes, I'm in the room. I just told you I was in the room. I'm freezing. What's plan B? She said, well, you'll notice on the right and left of you, there are 2 wonderful double doors that lead out to the lanai. I said, I see that. It's beautiful out there. She said, well, we found that if you open the doors, the trade winds will blow out the excess air conditioning.
There you go. There you go.
I said, you got to be kidding me. She said, well, how long are you in there today? I said, I just told you, all day. She says, oh, that's too bad. I said, what do you mean? She says, well, that plan only works for about 90 minutes. I said, what do you mean? What happens after 90 minutes? She said, after that point, the air conditioning knows what you've done and kicks up to full speed to overcome the effect of the trade winds. I said, you got to be kidding me, at 35 cents a kilowatt. I said, wait, what's plan C? She said, there is no plan C. I said, well, how about plan D? She said, well, if there's no plan C, there's no plan D. I said, no, I'm talking director of facilities. She said, oh, that plan D. Here, let me get him on the phone. Unbelievably enough, 5 minutes later, I was on the phone with the director of facilities, whose first question was, how long are you in there today? And I said, no, all day. He says, that's too bad. This is a true story, verbatim. It's like,
you know what? Let's do this, Bark. Is there more to this story?
That's all. No, that was it. I mean,
okay.
well, the bottom line is that,
oh my God, we need to go to a commercial break so that we can recover here in the studio from that story.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy. I'm David Day with my co-host Mike Hamnett, and giggling on the line from San Francisco is Mr. Mark Jewell, an energy efficiency guru. We'll see you on the other side of the break. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening again. I'm David Day, and my co-host is Mr. Mike Hamnett. You are watching Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy, and we are talking about energy efficiency.
Yes, it's the Efficiency Sales Professional Institute, and this is Mark Jewell.
Yeah, why don't you have energy in the name of that institute, you know?
No, it's interesting. No, but the Efficiency Sales Professional Institute is actually a division of EEFG, which stood for Energy Efficiency Funding Group, which I've had for 20 years. So we have a lot of lineage in energy efficiency. I thought, if I may be so bold, since we had technical problems in audio earlier in the show, I wonder if we should go over the trainings that were actually coming to Hawaii in
Well,
March.
okay, but we'll have to do this very quick because we got a whole packload of questions to hit
sure.
you with. But let's do that, ladies and gentlemen, because coming up here in Honolulu, Mark is coming over the end of March. So real fast, Mark.
Well, I think the best thing I could do is recommend you folks go to a web page that we've set up specifically for the courses that we're going to be teaching for Hawaii Energy. And the web page address is www.eefg.com/Hawaii Energy. eefg.com/Hawaii Energy. And on that webpage, you'll find all the courses we're offering. And one of the things I forgot to mention while we were having technical difficulties is that Hawaii Energy is reducing the cost of these courses by 90%.
Jeez.
Which means you're going to walk away with a course that usually costs $150 or $200 for $15. You're going to get lunch, and some of the courses come with a full year of coaching support from us here in San Francisco, bi-monthly or monthly 2-hour coaching calls on financial analysis and how to sell efficiency. So the deals are unbelievable. I'm not here to hawk courses over the phone, but bottom line is, if you're interested in advancing efficiency in your organizations, these courses are a must attend. We even have online versions because I know that people are very busy in the efficiency industry, and it's nice you can get online on-demand versions.
And who should be coming to these courses, Mark?
Well, they actually, not only building owners and managers, but also anybody whose job it is to advance energy efficiency in Hawaii. So obviously vendors, manufacturers, contractors, lighting technologists, utility salespeople, government people responsible for shepherding efficiency within the state.
Okay, and that's
it's a wide audience.
eefg.com/Hawaii Energy.
/Hawaii Energy.
Let's make it.
Yes.
Let's get /. Looking forward at all times.
Yep.
And Mark, people could sign up for the courses on the Hawaii Energy website, I assume?
It's actually the eefg.com. We're handling all the registration and payment processing. eefg.com/Hawaii Energy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Mark, you were at one of the breaks. You were telling me about a incredible savings in your building, which I'd just like you to communicate to Mike. Communicate it to Mark.
Yeah, we had a commercial. We had Hawaii Energy, or not Hawaii Energy, Energy Industries come and do audits of our 300 unit condominium down at Waikiki, and they came and we eventually we changed out the chiller and went to LED lights. We're saving $15,000 a month.
Wow.
On electricity.
$15,000 a month. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this show and you're on the board of directors of a condominium association, this program that Mark is going to be directing here in Hawaii or participating in coming up the end of March is something that you might want to check out. $15,000 a month. That changes your monthly maintenance fees big time, doesn't it?
It really does. No,
it's funny. I used to be the president of a condo association in Philadelphia, where I still own a 225 unit building, and it's amazing. Most condo associations do not have anybody on the board that really has energy efficiency expertise. But when you look at what is making up those homeowner association dues, energy is a big piece of a big line item.
Oh, it is.
And so, I would absolutely second. If you're in an AOAO and you need to, get a handle on your operating expenses, these courses are where you need to be. If nothing else, even if you can't break away from the office, just at least log online and get what you need.
Yeah, well, we should encourage associations and management companies to sign up for your courses.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I just, on behalf of the show here, Mark, I wanted to thank you for taking the time to spend with us here all the way from San Francisco. And Mike,
well, you're very welcome.
Mike, it's been nice to have you on the program here. And ladies and gentlemen, we have been broadcasting here at from Pioneer Plaza, right here in the belly of the beast on Bishop Street. You've been watching Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy, and I'm your host, David Day, and we will be back here next Wednesday, same time, same place. Good night.